No, it's an interesting thing because non-negotiables, I call myself a change junkie. I have change written on my neck, and you talk a lot about change also. And as we change, whether it's fair or not, our non-negotiables can change. Not the thing like you know about infidelity, you know yourself enough that that would never fly, and that's you. But things like the example, like having children, you went into the relationship wanting, he did too. I guess if he had met you, yeah, it just gets tricky depending on what changes throughout the relationship. And I often say that, you know, the difference between compromise and sacrifice. Compromise is being able to meet somebody where you can not have to take away the biggest, deepest parts of yourself while accommodating them. Sacrifice is when you bite off way more than you can chew, and you have to deny yourself to make them feel whole and okay. And people get very confused in that dynamic of, you know, and I often say to couples, the time that one should lean in is when it's less important to them. If it's more important to your partner, then that's when you bend and mold, versus, you know, and vice versa.
Yeah, I was going to say the story this story is really such an important one, but most couples don't have I would say either the emotional intelligence to do what you did, which was to say, I know that I'm changing our story. Let's work on this together, right? Usually what happens, and Monica knows this because she deals with so many couples, is that one couple goes through a life moment where they say things are going to change, and they almost throw it on their partner. This is what's going to be, as opposed to what you did, which I thought was.
Or they say, "Wait, this is not who I married. What do you mean? This is not what we said." Assuming that change is not going to happen. Change is the only constant, and we deny that when our ego and our feathers get ruffled.
And I think it's so important for our listeners that to understand, to really try to adapt that when you're having one of those changes, to go into it with partnership. Not, this is the decision I've made. You know, you'll have to, you know, mold to it. Which, for me, I wanted to know, when did you and your husband begin developing this true, you know, you call it radical
confidence.
Radical truth, not
honesty. Honesty, well, you can't, yeah.
And that real emotional knowledge of each other. Was it at the beginning? Did your
and
relationship
friendship
start
really? You know,
did your relationship start like that? To develop over time? Was there a moment? Because it's not common, right? It's not common.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you even said like emotional intelligence. Is that's I think a skill set that we've actually been refining over our last 23 years of being together and 21 years of our marriage. And so really, I think it started with the fact that you said this, the only constants is the change.